Okay, well, everyone, welcome to Post My Video, a show hosted by me and my co-host JHaller.
Hey, what's up?
This week we have our special guests from Silly Fillies Studios. We have Zedrin and Meredith.
Hello!
Hey, so, just to give you a little bit of background about what you both do for the group of Silly Fillies Studios. Meredith, you are a voice actress and director and writer now. Is that all correct?
Yes, I normally just voice act for Fluttershy, but yes, for Snowdrop I was the writer and I helped co-direct it with Zed.
Yes, and then Zed over here, Zedrin, you are one of the lead animators for the group, correct?
Yep.
Yep. So, basically how we go about this is we just go around and we want to start from the very beginning of how you guys started this whole group and kind of get access to information about how this whole crazy thing started. So, because obviously Silly Filly is not just one person producing videos. I mean, you're a group of people collaborating on these videos. So, how did the whole idea of this group come together and, basically, did you know a bunch of the members beforehand, or was it because of this show that you all got together and met up and got this idea to make such an animation group?
We actually have kind of a complicated origin story.
Oh.
So do you want to do it?
Yeah. Initially, we all got together. A good chunk of us actually initially got together because we were one of the, back when the group was actually called Project Saturation, if anybody remembers that. The goal was initially to make one of the first fan-made movies, which admittedly it's a pretty unfeasible goal, but at the same time, part of the reason why I got involved with it was just because I knew I was going to meet people who basically would be able to stick together and still make content even if we weren't able to make a full movie. When push came to shove, however, some drama wound up taking place in Project Saturation, which resulted in the group kind of splitting up and exploding, and a good majority of us actually wound up grouping up together and actually formed a new animation group where we started making animated shorts instead, which are a lot more manageable and a lot more feasible. But actually on the note of Rob Bub, I saw a comment in the chat. A while back, actually, there actually was a interview that was conducted with him and somebody else, I think, from EFN, where there was like a brief interview on Saturation, but that was almost a year ago.
Oh my gosh, has it really been that long?
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say your first animation through Silly Filly at the very least was, I believe, in June of 2012, so it's been at least half a year since then. So when you were splintering off into these groups, so Zedrin, who was specifically with you when you were starting out here?
Well, when it came, Saturation was initially, it was originally founded in like around December, and then we got VAs and the artists in the group around February. And most of the VAs are still present. In fact, I think actually all of them might be that we initially had.
All of us are, yeah.
Yeah. Most of the artists and such are still present. Beyond that, I think a lot of the original members are still here. Okay. It's just that we kind of had a change in administration. That makes sense.
Yeah, bureaucracy. Exactly.
Yeah, we're like one thing that's characteristic of our group is that even though I personally do a lot of the management, we don't really have any permanent leader. It's all kind of de facto leadership.
Okay. So just basically you feed off each other, but it's best just to feed off each other's creativity and just not look to one person. Everyone helps each other out in a way.
Yeah.
Okay. So a good group motto, I should say motto. I can't speak today. But, so, let's start back with the very first animation you guys did on this channel, which was called Luna's Cutie Mark, which was a very short, about a minute and 45-second animation that you guys did regarding an origin story for Luna and how she got her cutie mark. And you based it off of an egophiliac comic. So, did you go through several ideas before coming about that this was the first project you wanted to debut on this channel, or was this the one idea you were like, this needs to be the first idea when you came up with it?
When it came to I was actually still working on this project as like a little side thing when we were working on Saturation, because the idea was that we were going to make a series of smaller things in addition to working on the movie at the same time. Then, of course, Saturation exploded. We were still working on this while the splintering happened, and so we decided to actually instead publish this as a very first animation. But I really like Eophiliac. I consider myself her friend, though I don't get to talk to her that much, but I really like a lot of her comics, just the fact that they're short, they have a good build-up and a good punchline, and they're really easy to execute, so they make for perfect scripts for animation.
Are you a fan of Slice of Life by any chance?
Bigly.
Oh, yes.
I love Slice of Life.
So, no, that's one of my favorite Tumblrs that is currently out. So
Same.
It's done. But, so we're gonna just quickly show Luna's cutie mark for you guys. I mean, if you have the link up, just pull it up for yourselves. And we always start at the beginning. We do a little bit of a 3, 2, 1, go type of format we got going here. So basically to try to sync everyone up and make sure we're all watching the same thing at the same time. So, once you pull it up, we're gonna watch the your nice little intro. The cute, I don't know, is that an OC character at the very beginning there?
Yeah. Our friend Swivel, who's actually on our team, he's actually one of the artists on Pony Cart.
Okay.
But he's the one who came up with the design for her, and we've dubbed her Bubblegum.
Nice.
It's our little mascot.
All right. So we're gonna watch this and go. We'll all play. So 3, 2, 1, play.
Are you sure you're ready?
Of course I'm ready.
I could get it started for you.
No! You said I could do it by myself.
Okay.
But you could stand next to me. Just in case.
Just in case.
Did it work? Is it there?
The moon or your cutie mark?
The moon, duh. I don't have... I did it! I raised the moon and got my cutie mark.
Oh, did you? I wasn't looking.
Tia!
Just kidding.
Do I have to do the stars too?
Most nights, yes.
All of them?
Tell you what, I'll do the stars tonight if you help me with the sunrise in the morning.
Okay.
No stars tonight?
I guess I'm a little out of practice.
Tell you what, I'll do the stars tonight if you help me with the sunrise in the morning.
Okay.
It technically was the first major thing that I actually produced,
Okay.
or animated.
So basically, before that, you were doing little bits and pieces, but this was the first time you produced something that, say, you can consider a full-length little short cartoon.
Were the two of you working at this time? Like when you had first produced this, or had you two not been acquainted yet?
Meredith was still on the team. It's just that she wasn't really involved with this project specifically.
No Fluttershy.
Yeah, she voices Fluttershy. So we had Hannah Trusty and Jenra McGregor both voicing for Luna and Celestia in that. They're both our permanent VAs for those characters as well.
Awesome.
So, yeah, then the next animation that you guys produced, and rather, you had a completely different crew working on this, because the next one in the timeline is a parody of Charlie the Unicorn. It's called Twilight the Unicorn, made by a fellow named Envelope Brony, and voiced by a different voice cast, including Meredith here, and for Fluttershy, different voice actors for Twilight and for Pinky and Discord as well.
Twilight.
So, don't
Okay.
start. Don't you start off. But you know, I'm assuming these are already people that were already on the crew beforehand, or there were these new people you picked up because again, Envelope Brony kind of again just says this is a fairly new animator as well, or at least he's new within the fandom. So was he also with Sanctuary before?
He was a part of Saturation before.
I'm sorry, I apologize. I called it the wrong.
It's all good.
Saturation, Sanctuary. God. Okay. No, he was also part of it. And so basically, is it a thing where you guys are just creating animations independent of each other and just release it whenever you can, but you're kind of just working on whatever you can independently and all that?
Well, oh, sorry. Do you want to say?
Well, if you want to say something.
I was just gonna say. Usually our process right now is we have a big idea list, and everybody comes up with ideas, writes scripts. Everybody's allowed to write scripts. We don't have set writers. And if the animators see one that they like, then usually it will go into pre-production, and we will focus on it a little more. And it gets to the point where we have 3 or 4 animations in order of when we want to do them. So we actually have a few animations already in the works now, even though we just finished. But really, everybody's glad to work on them.
Right. So you just feeling the burnout, but you never rest. You got to work on the new content. That's good.
Exactly.
Yeah, right. So this next one, this Twilight the Unicorn, we're just going to go through this the same way we just did with Luna's Cutie Mark. And just going on 3, 2, 1, go format. Hopefully Firefox won't crash this time.
Hey man, I can't guarantee anything.
Use Chrome. There you go.
Dang it. Okay.
All right, so pull up. If you want to pull that up, I'll put it in there for the viewers as well, for you folks, so they can follow along with us. And we'll go with 3, 2, 1, play.
Hey, Twilight! Hey, Twilight! Wake up! Yeah, Twilight, you silly sleepyhead, wake up!
Oh, Celestia, you guys. This had better be pretty freaking important. Is Town Hall on fire?
No, Twilight. We found a map to Sugarcube Corner. Sugarcube Corner, Twilight. Yeah, Twilight, we're going to Sugarcube Corner. Come with us, Twilight. Yeah, Twilight. It'll be an adventure. We're going on an adventure, Twilight.
Yeah, Sugarcube Corner, right. I'm just gonna, go back to, studying now.
No, Twilight. You have to come with us to Sugarcube Corner. Yeah, Twilight, Sugarcube Corner. It's a land of sweets and joy and joyness.
Please stop bouncing on me.
Sugarcube Corner, Twilight. Yeah, Sugarcube Corner.
All right, fine. I'll go with you to Sugarcube Corner.
La 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 la.
Enough with the singing already.
Our first stop is over there, Twilight.
Oh God, what is that?
It's a crackle dime, Twilight. A magical crackle dime. It's gonna guide our way to Sugarcube Corner.
All right, guys, you do know there's a much faster route to Sugarcube Corner, right? We passed it 6 hours ago.
Shun the non-believer. Shun.
Yeah.
It has spoken. It has told us the way.
It didn't say anything.
It's just over this bridge, Twilight. This magical bridge of hope and wonder.
Is anyone else getting, covered in splinters? Seriously, girls, we should not be on this thing.
Twilight. Twilight. Twilight.
I'm right here. What do you want?
We're on a bridge, Twilight. We're here.
Well, what do you know? You actually can get to Sugarcube Corner this way.
Sugarcube Corner. Sugarcube Corner. Fill me with sweet, sugary goodness. Hey, go inside and check out our new basement, Twilight. Yeah, Twilight. Go look at the basement. Magical cupcakes that'll behold when you enter.
Yeah, thanks, but no thanks. I'm gonna stay out here.
But you have to go see our new basement, Twilight.
Oh, when I'm down and looking for some cheering up, then just head right on down to the Sugar Cube basement. When you get inside, you'll find yourself a cheery land, such a happy and joyful and perky party land. They've got lollipops and lemon drops and sugar cane, and so many cakes that will brighten every day. It's impossible to wear a crown in Cupcake Town. It's the mecca of love in one cellar. They've got fairy floss and zappables, little hats, flying pies, puffed with rain. It's a wonderland of sweets, where the cupcake train to town and hear the cider band flim and flam. It's a treat as they march across the land. Cherry trumpets stream across the sky and to the ground. Turn around, it astounds, it's a candy apple tree. In the sugar vault, imagination runs so free. So now, Twilight, please will you go in the basement?
All right, fine, I'll go look at your new basement. Those cupcakes better be good.
Goodbye, Twilight. Yeah, goodbye, Twilight.
Goodbye? What? Hey, what's going on here? Hello? Who is that?
Yeah.
Celestia, what happened? Oh, they took my freaking cutie mark.
You know what's really funny? When I was writing the adaptation for this, I was not thinking of cupcakes at all, and then all of a sudden we get so many comments about how I took cupcakes ideas.
People take that, they have that context already, so they are, they kind of, it's a little bit of reaching for that. But what I like so much about that particular animation is it just doesn't take itself too seriously. I know it lends a lot from the original animation, but that's part of what I just sort of like about it. You know, there's no need for the really smooth integrated animation for some parts where they're just flying around through the air randomly. That kind of style. It's sometimes it's good to see that, in a way. I'm personally a fan.
Yeah, no, I'm glad that you went for the similar style to how the original goes, and instead of also
I wanted to keep it as close to the original as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm also glad that you didn't just use the dialogue from the actual short, and you made it your own. So in that regard,
and I'm just glad to use Crackledon. It's great. That's all I needed. Satisfied.
Crackledon for president.
All right. So, moving on to the next bit. Now, I assume that one of you has to be a League of Legends fan. Just based yeah, you don't say. Because... Go on.
Okay, just like a little story. I'm also an artist, but when Diana first came out, I spent 14 hours in one night. Like, when her splash art was revealed, I spent 14 hours that night to make a bona fide version of it where Nightmare Moon is holding her sickle and stuff. And it's like 14 hours just in one night.
He's obsessed.
No, I can tell. I was going to say because that song came out, I believe, in August, and the animation came out 2 months later in October. So you had to have been working pretty nonstop on that to get that out in that short of a time span, and then of that quality as well. So basically, for those who don't know what we're talking about, this is a new video, the next video in their timeline, Daylight's End, which basically is just, it's Luna singing the song and kind of going this transformation into Nightmare Moon at the end.
Singing the song of her people.
Well,
okay.
I wouldn't count this technically as a ponification because there were elements of Diana. I do know that on Riot's team they actually do have a few people who are a fan of the show, and so they do kind of work in a few Easter eggs here and there when they can. So I am inclined to believe that part of Diana actually was inspired by Luna and stuff, and they knew that she was going to be popular for that reason.
It's always a possibility, for sure. Yeah, you know, there's so many little references in pop culture you see, and sometimes you're not sure if it is fans of the show just sprinkling things in there or not. So that's actually interesting to know that they're really fans on the League of Legends team. That's good. So we're going to show this next one up, Daylight's End, and it's really kind of just a somber and really melodic, however you say it, video for us. So I'm going to give you guys the link over in the chat, and let's cue it up.
Count us down, Johnny.
Johnny, I'll count you down. 3, 2, 1, play.
Ask not the sun why she says, why she shrouds her light away, or why she hides her glowing gaze when night turns crimson gold to gray. For silent falls the guilty sun, as day to dark does turn. One simple truth she dare not speak,
that little vector at the end, there's a little error I noticed that came up I noticed it like a week after I published the animation. The back leg is too far down, and it just bugs the heck out of me every time I see it.
As is usual with a lot of people's animations and videos, you'll notice the mistakes after you're done because you've had this tunnel vision for so long on getting it done, and finally when you're able to take a step back and you see these little things here or there that usually no one else even really notices except for you.
Man, that's the curse of any creator. You always see the flaws in your own work, and it's like, do I take it down to fix it and then lose all of the comments, likes, and things?
Not even a question, really. You can't. Once it's up, man. You can't. Can't change that in a lot of the cases. So that was the first three things that started you off, right there. And then you decided, let's go make a big project.
Let's get really ambitious.
Yeah.
We actually had started working on Snowdrop immediately after Twilight the Unicorn was published.
Okay.
We actually had been planning it out since about August.
So it's about 6 months in the making.
Mm-hmm.
About that.
Yeah.
And so you were the one who wrote it, Meredith. So I assume you were one of the first people to have come up with the idea. How long had you been holding that idea onto that idea? And when you say you were starting development in September. Did you write it before then, or did writing start as soon as around that time in September?
I believe I wrote it in late June. I want to say late June. And I actually wrote the first draft in about an hour, and I didn't know if it was any good or not. I stuck it in the team's Dropbox and went to bed, and I was still on Australian time because I was studying abroad.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole team was up, and I was going to bed. And I wake up the next morning, and they tell me that it's good, so I kept working on it.
Yep.
And then we kind of sat on it for about
I'm just going to play it in the background as we speak.
Then when Twilight the Unicorn was done, we had to figure out what we were doing next.
Mm-hmm.
And we decided to do mine, which was really terrifying.
Because now you have all these people who are thinking that they have high expectations, and you want to make sure that what you made is going to be entertaining. That's understandable.
Exactly.
So,
and I knew the idea would be a very sensitive idea in the first place. Any story about a person with a disability is going to be a very delicate procedure in terms of scripting.
And what was the particular reason you chose to give Snowdrop you make her blind?
Honestly, when I came up with the idea, I don't even remember the order of how the elements came into my head. But I remembered that I wanted to do something that would show people not to underestimate themselves. So I came up with this idea for this little blue pony who didn't think she was good enough, and then she finds out that she's good enough. And I think from there, it just kind of all fell into place. I wanted to do some kind of nature myth. I really like writing nature myths, and Cloudsdale's my favorite place, so that made her a Pegasus. And I was like, oh, well, I'm in Australia, and it's becoming winter here in June, so I guess that's kind of snow. And from there, it kind of put everything into place. Now, when she was blind, when I figured out that she was going to be blind, I knew how careful we would have to be with that, because there's a balance between her not seeming like she's blind at all and her seeming totally helpless, which is not what I wanted to portray at all.
Right.
I wanted to show that even if you have a disability as striking as blindness, you can do things for yourself, and people who are blind do things for themselves every day. They know how to get around. If they're in familiar places, they know where everything is. So I didn't want her to be led everywhere, but at the same time, I wanted there to be enough detail to show that she had to work for what she was doing.
So I think what we're going to do right now is we have this small clip we took out of Snowdrop just to show the audience, to give them an example. And this is the part where she kind of realizes, a little bit of what she can do she has a project for school, and she really has no idea what she's going to do, because unfortunately no one wants to work with her because of her disability. But she figures out, she has this little revelation about what she can do. And so we're going to show that right here. Let me grab the link for y'all, as usual.
It's really good at Pulling all the heartstrings.
One other thing I also want to comment on the blindness.
Sure.
It also, part of the reason why it was also included is the fact that she can't see anything means that she doesn't have any disposition to night or day as well. So it means that she's... So, like, one thing that was really important was kind of like how she wound up being able to relate to Luna, for instance. And the reason she was able to do that was because she can't really tell the difference between night or day. They're both the same thing to her.
Because near the end, Luna does comment that they were good friends, and that was important to Luna, obviously, because not all the ponies are up at night, obviously. So no, it's a good point. So let's start this up. I believe you guys have it in the links as well. If you're all queued up to go, I'll make sure the chat needs it. There you go. And we'll start it off as usual. So. 3, 2. By the way, this is going to give you all the dolls and all the feels, and if you cry, it's not a big deal.
She has good taste in music, though. Tenacious D.
She is impeccable.
Wait. Oh God! That's.
Whoever made that, I want to give them a hug.
That came out of left field, didn't it? Yeah. So. Okay. 3, 2, 1, play.
Twinkles. What good are twinkles? You can't wish on twinkles. I don't know if one of you was out there tonight in all the snow. I don't think you are. But please, if you are, I wish, I hope, I dream, I pray. By the princess's rule, light my way. Please, I just want to show I can do something for once. Everyone else says I can't do anything, but I just... that wasn't snow. Snow is...
You listen better than any pony I know.
Tell me more about the stars.
Well, there are all sorts of stars, all different shapes and sizes. But they all have little points at their edges. When they sparkle, their shape shift. They leave little glowing spaces, only for a moment. And the few that streak across the sky and fall down to the earth, the shooting stars, those are the ones you make your strongest wishes on, because they can carry them through.
I think one of the reasons I really liked the whole story of Snowdrop was because of how well it could fit in a side story. It actually worked as like a prior history to where the main six are now. I think you fit in the story well. It seemed to actually be plausible, and it's just it's good backstory.
Well, thank you. Yeah, that was very important to me to not mess with the canon at all. Which is hard when you have an OC as your main character.
True.
But she wasn't a Mary Sue, thankfully. And then you know.
I did my best.
She controls all of winter. I don't know, man. She's pretty Mary Sue. Just kidding. She's too adorable.
Yeah, no, it's just like it's really, really, really hard to keep your composure at some points. So. Good job on the writing and good job with the voice acting. You guys did a really excellent job with that whole process.
One of the things that was also really good, I just want to give a little shout out. The music, in my opinion, the music was one of the strongest aspects of it as well.
Yeah.
Because we had, as I said before, we had Rev working on the music as well as Ponyvization, and they just did like a really, really good job on it.
No, I have to agree definitely with that. It sets the tone for what we hear, and it's just excellent job all around, pretty much. So, on your end, Zedrin, I just wanted to ask, with this huge project, what were some of the biggest challenges you guys faced in the animation process for this whole thing?
The biggest challenge in the animation process was definitely the fact that collaborative works are insanely hard to pull off. Mm-hmm. When you have multiple animators, you have to worry about multiple styles, file formats, even stuff as mundane as like Flash versions can create a lot of problems. But like the way we divided this up, we didn't divide it up shot by shot. We divided it up instead scene by scene and gave each animator a different scene to work on. And as a result, for instance, when we got scene 4, a good chunk of it was well animated, but a good chunk of it actually needed to be redone. And because of the way it was organized, it was insanely hard to reanimate and stuff and redo those parts. So we actually had to completely rebuild a few of the shots in that scene, which was very, very hard and very time consuming.
I can imagine, definitely. Oh man, I'm thinking back to my own projects now, and I gotta redo a few things myself. But anyway, so I mean, but definitely a huge challenge, and from what I can tell, a really huge reward, because from what I've seen, this animation has been getting a massive positive response. And how fulfilling is it to see this thing finally done, and seeing this response for you guys?
Extremely. I couldn't believe the reception that we got. Actually, I was afraid since she was an OC, she would kind of get automatic hate. So to see people like it made me really happy and relieved that it was finished.
Awesome.
There's been a good deal of critique on that, on the animation itself. I do kind of wish that there was more critique on like the actual animation, because a lot of people, they seem to either be focused on either defending or saying they just didn't like the writing, but they're not. A lot of the critique we've gotten has been really non-technical. Like it's been more like opinion-based than it has been like technical-based.
Sure.
Or they've just been stating stuff that a lot of people have already stated already, or stuff that we already know. But one other thing.
Go on.
Oh yeah, one other thing that was also really hard for like animation fixes. Like there are a few animation errors in this, but when it comes to After Effects, rendering this out in After Effects, it takes like 3 to 5 seconds per frame to render, and a single shot can have up to 200 frames. So that's how much time it would take to fix a single shot.
And so it's a ton of time, a ton of work, and you're limited by the technology in that case to fix any mistakes. So basically, it's understandable if if not everything can just come out exactly perfect down to everything, but all the same, looks great on your end. And I know what you mean, talking about the constructive criticism. You'd like to have more of it. How do I improve and how do I get better at what I do? And, what tips can I garner? And those are sometimes hard to find through public comments, but usually there's at least 1 or 2 things you can take away when you look and see what people are saying. So hopefully you guys were able to definitely take away from this and use that to improve for future projects.
Oh, yeah.
So I had a question that was more or less directed towards either of you. If you were approached by other animators or people doing their own projects, such as Devil Rain Boom or anyone else, for sort of getting help, or if they approached you because they were interested in having you on their projects, and if you had any experience with that.
I've personally never been. I've never been approached by another animator personally. Most of the animators who I talk to, I already am good friends with. Like I'm really good friends with Galaxy Art, for instance, and we're actually one of the animations he's working on is actually going to tie into one of the animations we work on in the future. So kind of like a spiritual successor.
Very cool.
But nobody has ever asked me to actually join on with them as a project. But there are a huge number of people, to the point of it being irritating, who really want to try and pitch us like scripted ideas, or think that like they'll come forward to me asking if I want to work on their movie project about their OC Bloodbolt, for instance.
Yeah,
like that. And it's like
we've already gotten 50 messages from you, Bloodbolt. I think we've got the idea. We're not going to be able to animate.
Well, and as a voice actress, I mean, I work on all sorts of different projects. Like, I actually do a voice in Double Rain Boom. And I did a voice for Main 6, and I'm on Journey of the Spark. So, I mean, I'm like all over the place with that. But as far as writing goes, I've really only ever written anything for Silly Philly.
And you've continued writing since this, I would assume?
Yeah, I'm a creative writing major, but
okay.
I haven't written any new scripts for Silly Philly lately. Simply because I have to get a novel finished before I graduate in a month. So that comes first.
Oh, that's it? Just a novel?
Yeah, just a novel.
Oh, okay. No big deal. Right. Oh, okay.
No, my goal is 30,000 words by the end of the weekend. But probably after school's done, I'll write some more scripts.
All right. And so basically, winding down here, so we just want to ask, what other projects are planned down the road for you guys? Is there anything that you can talk about or reveal here, or do you want to keep everything under wraps right now?
Can we tell them the next project?
Well, the next project we have, and it's kind of ironic that we're releasing it immediately after doing an OC story, but just to give you an idea what the name is, that should be enough information. It's going to be called Donut Steel.
Oh.
It's going to be a parody.
So is it
It's
OC?
a parody. It'll be a...
Oh.
It'll be funny. It'll be like a movie trick. It'll be like an over the
top Duke Nukem movie trailer.
All hail to the Duke.
Oh, never.
Actually, just because it's going on in the background, just like a little aside, somebody commented on that shot being laggy. That's a really good example of where I was kind of tied up, because I actually needed a longer shot for that shot there that just lagged, but I couldn't render out a longer one because it simply just would take way too long for me to render it out and then slip it in there.
So did
I
you
just
do
wound up
like a
stretching
time
that
stretch?
one out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wound up doing a time stretch, and it didn't really look that attractive, but it was enough.
The price you have to pay.
Yeah. Anyway,
let's see. We're also doing Twilight the Unicorn 2 after that, I think. That's on the list, anyway. I don't know when we're doing it, but it's on the list.
And then there's another project that we're working on. This one I've actually written myself. It's called, it's going to be called Fall of the Crystal Empire. And it's going to basically be about Sombra, Luna, and Celestia, and it's going to be probably the most I'll ever have interacted with action. So, see where that comes out. Don't know how far it's going to be done long summer, but I really want to get started on that one soon.
Awesome. Well, we look forward to any future projects you guys come out with. Because we've been impressed so far.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I think one of the very last thing is just, do you want to promote yourselves, Twitters, or do you want to give shout-outs to anybody at, people you work with, just other people should check out and all that? The floor is yours.
Well, all of our team members are affiliates on the main Silly Philly Studios YouTube page. I believe all of us are now. So if you want to find any of us and subscribe to us, then we're on that YouTube page. A lot of them are in the chat right now. I'm not sure. I think I saw Jen, who plays Celestia for us. I saw Spencer, who does a lot of different voices for us. He played the guard in Snowdrop at the very end. And he's the one who's kind of heading up Donut Steel. So, let's see.
And I'm just going to post your Twitters anyway in the chat. Twitter will decide to work. But yeah. So
that'd be great.
No, follow these guys.
I just noticed you put Galaxy art in the background for this scene.
Yeah, we actually put quite a few of our...
Yeah, there's
oh, right, there's
Johannes is there.
Okay.
And,
Snap Eye.
And all of the classmates are OCs too. The one furiously waving her hand is my OC. her hoof.
Nice.
And there's also Dialect Studios in the background next to the Derpy clone, who we've dubbed Walleye. And the pink pony that was next to him is actually another one of our friends named Amy, who's actually our VA for Chrysalis, who actually did the voice Chrysalis in the along with Rev in the promo animation that we released Tuesday before.
And it was very hard to put a zebra in this, let me tell you.
Oh, jeez.
Those tattoos just didn't want to stay at the same place. Those strips.
No.
All right. Well, I think we are finished. So thank you guys very much for coming on the show with us and talking with us about your work. And hopefully, we can't wait to see what you guys put out in the future. And yeah, we're done.
Thank you very much for having us.
You're welcome. Just to let you guys know now, we're actually going to be on next week, but we're not going to be on our normal time at Thursday. We are actually going to be on Sunday because we are going to... Zedrin beat me to his Twitter. I was just about to post it. Anyway, no, we're going to be on Sunday at 5 p.m. Why the Strange Time? We're going to be actually talking with Zachary Rich from Double Rainbow, so we're going to be having a talk with him, seeing what we can do with him. But otherwise, that is it for now. Tune in next time, and thank you guys again for showing up.